You check your bank account, and for a second, your brain freezes. Not because it's empty, but because it's almost something. Not zero, not good either, just stuck. And that's the part nobody talks about because being broke is obvious, being rich is obvious, but being stuck in the middle, that's where most people live for years without realizing they're trapped. You work, you try to save, you're not careless, and yet nothing really changes. Months go by, then years, and that first $100,000, it feels like it belongs to a completely different reality. But here's the truth that almost nobody explains properly. It's not hard because of money. It's hard because you're playing the wrong game. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because right now, you probably think your problem is income. Maybe you tell yourself, if I just made a little more, I'd finally get ahead. But look around. There are people making $2,000 a month, struggling. People making $5,000, still stressed. People making $10,000, living paycheck to paycheck. So, what's actually going on? It's simple. Income doesn't fix financial problems, it hides them. Because if your system is broken at $2,000, it will still be broken at $10,000, just with nicer problems. A bigger apartment, a better car, more subscriptions you forgot about. Same result, still stuck. And this is where things get uncomfortable because the issue isn't effort. If effort made people rich, the hardest working people on the planet would all be millionaires. But they're not. The real issue is structure. Most people are trying to build wealth using a system designed to keep them busy, not free. Think about how your money actually moves. You earn it, you pay bills, you spend, you try to save, something unexpected happens. And just like that, like you're back where you started, over and over again. It feels like progress, but it's not. It's maintenance. And here's the dangerous part. You can live like this for years and not realize you've gone nowhere. That's why the first $100,000 feels impossible, because you're doing all the work manually. Every dollar saved is a decision. Every step forward feels slow, but something changes when you cross that line. Not magically, not overnight, but mathematically. Because at that point, your money starts working with you. Instead of saving every dollar through effort, your investments begin to generate returns. And suddenly you're not pushing anymore. You're building momentum. That's why the first $100,000 feels so hard. Not because it's special, but because you're doing all the heavy lifting alone. So how do you actually break out of this? Not by cutting coffee, not by trying harder, but by fixing the parts of your financial life that actually matter. Let's start with the biggest one, housing. This is where most people quietly destroy their financial future. Because housing feels fixed. You pick a place, you get comfortable, and that's it. But here's the reality. If a large portion of your income goes into housing, everything else becomes harder. And the worst part? People don't question it. They'll spend time trying to save small amounts, but ignore hundreds that disappear every month. That's backwards. Because the fastest way to change your financial trajectory is to free up meaningful amounts of money consistently. Even a small adjustment here changes everything. A slightly cheaper place, a different area, sharing costs for a period of time. It's not forever. It's strategy. Because when you free up money monthly, you're not just saving, you're creating fuel. Fuel that actually builds something. Now, here's where most people go wrong next. They think saving means sacrifice. Like life has to get smaller. But there's a better approach. Instead of shrinking your life, expand your income. But with one rule. That extra income is not for spending. It has one job: build wealth. Because if every dollar you earn upgrades your lifestyle will always outrun your wealth. And that's how people stay stuck for years, even with higher incomes. So you split it. Your main income supports your life. Your extra income builds your future. That shift alone changes everything. Because now saving doesn't feel like losing. It feels like redirecting. And then comes the next mistake people make. They rely on discipline. They think, I'll just be more consistent. But discipline fades. Motivation disappears. Life gets busy. And when that happens, old habits return. That's why automation matters so much. Because the less you rely on decisions, the more consistent you become. Money should move automatically. You get paid, and part of it goes straight into building your future. No thinking, no hesitation, and over time, that consistency becomes powerful. But there's another trap waiting, and it's one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. Lifestyle inflation. It doesn't feel like a mistake, it feels like progress. You earn more, so you upgrade everything. Better place, better car, better spending. You tell yourself you earned it, and maybe you did. But here's the trade off: every upgrade today delays your freedom tomorrow. And the worst part, it doesn't make you significantly happier over time because you adapt. What felt exciting becomes normal, and then you need more. That cycle repeats unless you stop it, because the goal isn't to look successful, it's to become free. And those are completely different paths. Now, let's talk about investing, because this is where people either overcomplicate everything or avoid it completely. Some try to pick perfect opportunities, others do nothing because they're afraid. Both lose time, and time is the most important factor you have. Here's the truth: you don't need to be perfect, you need to be consistent, because trying to outsmart everything usually leads to mistakes. Constantly reacting, constantly adjusting, constantly second guessing. It feels like control, but it's not. It's noise. Real progress comes from staying in the game, putting money in regularly, letting it grow, and not interrupting the process every time something changes. Because growth doesn't happen in a straight line. There will be uncertainty, and most people don't lose because of bad strategy, but because they quit at the wrong time. They panic, they step out, and they miss the recovery. And that one mistake can cost years. There's also something almost invisible and but extremely important: fees. They seem small, almost irrelevant, but over time, they quietly reduce what you could have had because they compound too, which means every small percentage matters more than you think. So keeping things simple isn't just easier, it's smarter. And when you combine all of this, something shifts. You're no longer relying only on effort. You've built a system. Money flows differently. Decisions feel easier. Progress becomes visible. And that's when it finally starts to feel real. Because you're not guessing anymore, you're executing. And eventually, you reach that point, your first $100,000. And when you get there, everything changes. Not instantly, not dramatically, but clearly. Because now you understand the game. You see that it was never about luck or perfect timing. It was about structure, consistency, and patience. And from that point on, life gets easier. Not because you're doing more, but because your money is finally doing something. And the question is no longer, can I do this? It becomes, how far can I go? Because now you're not stuck anymore, you're moving. And once that starts, it doesn't feel impossible anymore. It feels inevitable. So the real question isn't whether you can reach $100,000. It's whether you're willing to stop playing the old game and start playing a better one. Because most people won't. They'll keep repeating the same patterns, thinking the same way, waiting for something to change. But now you see it differently. And once you see it, you can't go back.